And did you know that China, in fact, I think we have an article covering this on Natural News. China now leads global technology. Here it is. China regarded as new global tech leader since it controls 90% of all critical technologies. Yeah, the US is not leading in critical technology. China is leading. These include advanced aircraft engines, drones, collaborative robots, satellite positioning, navigation systems, radar systems, quantum engineering, nuclear medicine, quantum sensors, high performance computing, gravitational sensors, space launch, advanced integrated circuit design and fabrication. It goes on and on. Biotechnology, robotics, cyber computing, advanced materials, artificial intelligence. China is leading in 90% of those, not the US. You know why that is? Because the US empire has become a corrupt, collapsing, apathetic clown show. I mean, there's not even a functioning democracy in America because the elections are rigged. You don't have a functioning press because they're just handed memos by the CIA and they just read the memos, read their teleprompters. They're not even functioning as a free press anymore. You don't have a functioning ecosystem of medical journals or science journals. They're all bought off by big pharma or Bayer for GMOs and pesticides. You don't have a functioning court system. It's totally corrupt, and you can't expect any real justice in the courts in America. You don't have, functioning civility, rule of law in many areas, especially the blue states or the blue cities, because they're defunding police, letting criminals back out on the streets. I mean, folks, the United States of America is collapsing into third world status rapidly. And when the dollar collapses, it's going to be overnight. I mean, it's going to happen overnight. But Egypt sees what's coming. That's why they are buying fighter jets from China. Let's see what else we have here. Pakistan has now discovered the fourth largest oil and gas reserves in the world. That's Pakistan. So now Pakistan is going to be an energy leader. Remember that Pakistan has nuclear weapons also, and they may be willing to give them to countries like Turkey. Yeah. And don't forget what I covered yesterday. The Yemeni military has hypersonic missiles, hypersonic cruise missiles. They just hit Tel Aviv with a hypersonic missile, and Tel Aviv couldn't even stop it. So, I mean, folks, look, that missile flew at up to Mach 10. I mean, maybe it was only Mach 9 or 8.5 or something, but it's close to 10. Do you realize that the United States military does not have hypersonic missiles at all? Not a hypersonic missile that flies at Mach 6 because the program failed because, just so much corruption and fraud. And in America's military, what do? They elevate the most woke moron into the highest position. Oh, would you like to be an engineer, an aerospace engineer to design hypersonic missiles? And, the woke person says, well, sir, I don't know anything about aerospace engineering, but I do have all the right other qualifications. I'm wearing rainbow flags and pretending to be a woman. And they're like, you're hired. Yeah, why don't you engineer the missile? You don't need math. You've got virtue signaling, And then it turns out that the US hypersonic missiles don't work. I wonder why. Because they're libtard missiles. That's why libtard missiles don't work. They're not hypersonic. I mean, they're stupid sonic. They don't even fly at all. So when you have Yemen outpacing the United States military, I mean, Yemen's military budget is almost zero compared to America's military budget, which is the largest in the world. It's approaching $1 trillion a year. For a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of that, Yemen is building, they say, and launching their own hypersonic missiles. Now, granted, they were probably handed a ton of technology from Iran. I mean, that's the most likely case. But they're producing it domestically now. So are you telling me that Yemen can produce hypersonic missiles and the U.S. can't? Yes, that's the case. That's how pathetic the situation has become. Think about that. Let that sink in, folks. All right, now we are going to jump into the interview here. Sorry I took so long to cover all this. It's just there's a lot going on. We've all got to get prepared. We've got great solutions for you. Number one, healthrangerstore.com. Our lab tested, certified organic, storable foods, many preparedness products like our line of knives there, co-designed with Dawson Knives. We've got iodine, and we've got supplements, superfoods, storable foods, personal care products, an amazing assortment. healthrangerstore.com. Support us. You will greatly increase your intake of nutraceuticals and nutrient-dense superfoods while avoiding exposure to toxins. healthrangerstore.com. Now, for other supplies that you may need for what's coming, for gold and silver, for satellite phones, for body armor, for chlorine dioxide, for ivermectin labeled for pets, for the best holsters in the world, no kidding, that I use now because they don't break, go to rangerdeals.com. And at that website, rangerdeals.com, you'll see there's a discount code there for all the different vendors. And there's also a logo to explain whether they're a sponsor or an affiliate or no sponsor at all. And there's something, Patriot Green Products told me they are having a sale. Let me look that up. Here it is. They're going to have 50% off their biochar grow kits next week. So that's patriotgreenproducts.com. And they are also listed there at rangerdeals.com. The satellite phones are at sat123.com. If you want goldbacks, go to verifiedgoldbacks.com. All these links are on rangerdeals.com. We've got links to the prepper bars, to gold and silver coins, to a number of things that will help you get prepared. rangerdeals.com is your destination. And by the way, your purchases there help us in one way or another. Let me explain something. Some of them that are affiliate deals helps us financially. Others, we are given donations. And as you know, I'm launching a church, the Church of Natural Abundance. And we've already been doing this for quite a while, more than a year. But when I get donations, I distribute them. I distribute them to the local community. It's just now under the church, we will be able to more formally run, food rescue, emergency medicine rescue programs from within the church to help the local community. And also, we're helping other churches and other ministries. We just made major donations to a ministry in Florida, by the way. And we've got donations to ministries in Texas. And we sent out donations to the pet rescue organizations. Those of you who are listening who contacted us about the pet, the veterinary rescue or pet rescue, hopefully you received your shipments quite a while ago. We're doing a lot of donations. So for many of these vendors, when they donate products to us, what we do is we distribute those and get them out to other excellent organizations, sometimes nonprofits, sometimes churches or ministries, or sometimes we are stockpiling things to prepare for emergencies, and then we'll have logistics distribution in conjunction with some response organizations that we know very well. We've made a lot of contacts. Obviously, we know a lot of people in the state of Texas. The next time there's a flood or a fire or a hurricane, if there's something that we can do to help or something that we can distribute, that is a part of our mission. So when you support our vendors or you support us, you are, in effect, supporting our operations for rescue and donations and distribution of many life-saving items. And I'll bring you more news about that as it happens. I mean, we'll do videos and we'll do podcasts about it. We'll show you, we'll interview people when those days come, whatever that looks like. But I just want to give you a heads up that, supporting us with our purchases, it's a much bigger picture than you might think. It's supporting the infrastructure of helping people, because that's what we believe in. That's what we practice. And the slogan of healthrangerstore.com is healing the world with clean food. It's something that I believe in and something that I've practiced for many, many years. So thank you for your support. All right. So with that said, then we're going to jump into the interview from a man who lives in Springfield, Ohio, to talk about the economic displacement and the massive human trafficking operation run by the government itself that ends up booting Americans onto the streets. Yeah, pretty sickening that this is happening in America. But check out this interview, and then I'll have a sermon for you on the other side of that. And today's sermon is about frankincense, so enjoy it. All right, welcome everybody. This is Mike Adams here, Brighteon.com, and today we have a guest, a man named Mark who lives in Springfield, Ohio. And of course, we've all heard a lot of different reports of things happening in Springfield and an influx of migrants, or some people call them the newcomers. And there have been people going to Springfield who don't live there and trying to, find interviews or find examples or shoot video that might be interesting to others. But our guest today lives there and has been part of the community for many years, and maybe has a fresh perspective on things. So welcome, Mark, to the interview today.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you taking the time to join us here. And can I just cover a couple basic things, like how long have you lived in Springfield, and what do you do there?
So I have lived here my entire life, which would be 46 years.
Oh, wow.
Given just a few years living in Columbus, which is just right down the road. But pretty much I've lived here my whole life. Okay. And I'm in transportation.
Okay. Now, for those 46 years that you mentioned, how would you describe Springfield as a place to live? I mean, not counting whatever we're going to talk about today, the recent stuff, but before that, what was Springfield like?
So Springfield's always been a unique community. I mean, we have a long, rich history here. A lot of industrial history. A lot of things were made here. So I think people who are from Springfield, they take a lot of pride in the city. Now, when I was a young kid in the 80s,